they've cultivated 2 million hectares of land in northern Nigeria. They have done on a dry farming. There's something called dry farming. Can you call farming? From September 2023 to January 2025, I have not seen a single picture of any farm, federal government farm. Now, what they are now saying is that, in fact, it was, I think it was August last year, Tifnumbu's Minister of Agriculture, he came up and he said, the price of food in Nigeria will crash in 180 days. That's 6 months. August, September, October, November, December, January. This is January. No, hang on. It wasn't August, though. I think he said that in July. Yeah, July. July, August, September, October, November, December. And this is January. There is no reduction in cost of food because there is no farm anywhere. They said Tifnumbu empowered 240,000 farmers. Where are they? There is no farmers anywhere. There is no farm anywhere. Onofunuga and the rest of them couldn't go to those farms, make some videos, and share with us and say, what exactly are you growing in those farms? You should be able to tell us. Rice? Millet? What are you growing on those, on that farm? Maize? Cassava? Agbado? Or what? Koolu? What are you growing on your farm? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. People are going to die of hunger in 2025.
And we are competing with armed robbers and the bandits to recruit from the youths who are unemployed. 33% unemployed. Recruit 50 million youths into the army and the other thing. Take away from their recruitment source. What they will eat? Cassava, agbado, corn in the morning, yam in the afternoon. It's growing here. You create demand and consumption. For over 5 million army of boot camps. We create our food. Abi, that's money for the farmers. That's consumption for the soldiers and skill development. Don't call them illiterate. Don't talk about illiteracy. Anybody who can own gun, who can handle gun, who can cock gun and clean the chamber and cock and shoot is technically competent to repair a tractor in the farm. The farmer will make more money. Your lunch will not be imported. Cassava gari, the farmers will make money. The dinner will be cassava by
Turn the so-called Yahoo boys to experts in manufacturing and creation of chips that intercept and all. That transmission line is a super highway. For generated electricity and power. They could not even make a down payment for a roasted corn.
So if you dare remind them of all of this, they will come blazing. So they have told Sanusi to shut up. It's your business. Better watch your mouth. This is not, they are saying it to Sanusi. They said, this is not Jonathan. No. You think you can make Nigerians to rise up against Tifnumbu? You will realize that this is not Jonathan. We will not take any nonsense from you. And he is very right. Tifnumbu is surrounded by rogues, criminals, men and women of no integrity, because he doesn't have one himself. And if you do not have any criminal past, a very strong criminal past, you can't be in Tifnumbu's government, no? You can't. They believe they are doing you a big favor. And whatever it is that you are facing in that Nigeria right now, you don't understand. You have to be grateful to them. You have to be thankful. You understand? No, it's only Tifnumbu that can take all these decisions. What decision? What decisions are you talking about? The decisions that impoverishes the people? What kind of decision? I don't know. Like, what kind of life is this? I don't think people are 100% like a dumb to actually see what is going on. They are not. You have the central bank of the country led by somebody who ran aground 3 different national banks. 3 banks died in the hands of Kadobi Oduduwa Emefiole. 3 banks died in his hand, and Tifnumbu appointed him. He is a criminal himself. Or Wale Idun. And who else is there? The one for the national planning or something is a former Abacha bagman, Bagudu. Surrounded by criminals. Because he is a criminal himself anyway, so, I mean, that shouldn't shock anybody. Then they continue to come out. If you dare say anything, they will attack you. Obi spoke, they said he's crossed the line. Obasanjo spoke, they attacked him. Everyone who says something. So now they are threatening Sanusi that don't think because of the appeal court ruling on this Kano matter is over. There is still Supreme Court. So Supreme Court is still there to rule on the Kano Emirates Wahala. But they are threatening him. They are. I think in that same gathering. What is his name again? Oh, hang on before I even go back to that. So Tifnumbu's Minister of Agriculture 2 days ago again called a press conference to roll out all these lies. This should get you really, really mad. But I'll stop it if you're tired of listening to the lies. But let it be on record that the Minister of Agriculture that promised Nigerians that the food will crash, the food prices will crash in 180 days, is out to say the food prices have crashed in Nigeria. For those who went to Nigeria for 30 December, that is not what they experienced. In fact, food inflation in Nigeria right now is more than 500%. But how can anybody tell you that food inflation in Nigeria is 44%? When a bag of rice that used to be 7,500 naira, then jumped to 28,000, 25,000 naira under Bukuwari. And within a space of 20 months, it is now 99,000, 100,000, 120,000 naira. Is that 144%? Let's do the math. If they tell you that the food inflation is 44%, a bag of pure water used to be how much? Yeah, that bag of sachet water. 100 naira. Well, let's use 100 naira. How much is it today? I'll read the comment, don't worry. Before Tifnumbu, crate of egg, 24 eggs in one crate was 600 naira. How much is it now? 6,000 naira. I know that one. Is that 44% increase? Because even if you say 50% inflation, today, that simply means that a crate of eggs should be 900 naira. It shouldn't be 6,000 naira. It should be 900 naira. That would be like, okay, 50% inflation. But you know that's not true. But listen to this guy.
24. From the reports that we have received around the country, we have considerable positive harvest. What I mean by positive harvest is that we have a harvest that far exceeds that of the previous year in all the major staple crops that we have cultivated during the wet season in 2024. Going forward, we also have engaged and have launched the dry season of 2024/2025. We launched the dry season in Calabar, Cross River State, in November. I think about November 14th, when we had the council, the National Agricultural Council in Cross River State. And for the first time, Cross River became a wheat producing state. And this is the first time we have gotten a southern state that joined the other 15 northern states that are wheat producing. It's a pilot scheme that we're going to have in the northern part of Cross River. And wheat is, of course, you know that it's a crop that is cultivated in cold times and under irrigation. And we also intend to, in addition to the dry season, we also intend to pilot wet season wheat cultivation in highland areas that are temperate, that are colder, places like Taraba State, Plateau State, and the same Cross River State. So we intend to this year also go into that. However, we have concluded that the government pays 75% of the seed amount. Then in terms of fertilization, it's also 50-50, just like we did the last year. 50% subsidy of fertilizer to the farmers. And we have about 98% of redemption. So that is to say we have almost reached the 300,000 farmers and 150,000 hectares of wheat. So that in itself, we're waiting for the vegetative growth and also subsequently the harvest sometime around March and April. There's a lot of enthusiasm and we have a lot of expectation in this year because the farmers have expressed their desire to go into wheat more than ever before, simply because the wheat is now becoming something that they are used to, and also the attraction in the profit and also what they can get out of wheat farming. We are also going to jumpstart the second phase, which is the rice cultivation. Rice cultivation in dry season takes place in irrigated areas for dry season, but the wet season is the whole country, 36 states plus FCT. But in this phase, we are starting end of this month and early February, the southern parts of this country where there will be, we have already identified clusters where irrigation farming will take place, and between Agric, which is the sub-dealer of John Deere in Nigeria, and that was signed, that also for 2,000 tractors at the cost of $70 million. No payment has been made so far on that one, but the dealer we have made, and upfront payment, and as they come, as we get the shipments, then the upfront payment. And we're going to start by doing the all over.
Nuisance Lele.
That's what they do say to themselves, you know, like we have the best harvest this year. Last year, I think November is thinking, I think November. So we had a very good harvest and everything is cheaper now. If it is not cheap in your own state, don't worry. It will still get to you. It is, we are going to start the second phase. You say, okay, when did you do the first phase? When was the first phase of your... That's how they lie to them. Like they boldly come to public and say it. Although I remember when they said they were sharing fertilizers. They were sharing fertilizers. The senators were given fertilizers to go and give to farmers in their own senatorial district. As the policy of Tifnumbu, fertilizers shared by lawmakers or shared to lawmakers, and the lawmakers will go and give them to farmers as phase one. And then they came back with a report that says, man, this year we had a very, very huge harvest. We are now going ahead with the second phase. When did you do the first phase? Where are the farms? Where are the farms? There is no farm anywhere. Just know that if there is, these guys will plaster their farm, the pictures and the videos, they'll plaster everything all over the social media because they have always been looking for validations that will make people believe them that something is actually going on. You know, that is the agriculture minister. So at that same gathering, or in that same gathering where Sanusi triggered the the PTSD nerve of the Tifnumbu and the Ronukus that they started threatening him. Falana was there too. And here is what he also said at that same gathering, briefly.
Bretton Woods and the African economies. Can Nigeria survive another structural adjustment program? Ladies and gentlemen, let's ask Mr. Femi Falana, SAN, as I invite him to the podium.
Your Royal Majesty, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we're gathered here today to celebrate honor, to celebrate integrity and consistency. We're not here to celebrate Ghanai's wealth. He has some wealth. But what we're here for is to celebrate what he stood for. And I think we are going to live here today, determined as lawyers to shake the society. If Ghana were here today, he would have said, we have talked enough. Let's now move to the street. In 1986, SAP was imposed on the country. By the way, it was imposed at the instance of the IMF and World Bank. And Babangida said there was no alternative. A few of us sat down with Chief Awemi and he said, yes, we're going to have an alternative to SAP symposium. It was to take place at the NNC office in Yaba. At the 11th hour, it was cancelled. So we have to move to Chief Awemi's chambers. From there, he was alleged to have committed an offense. He, the late Daishulani and Wahab Gullah were arrested. But from Panti, those two elderly men were released and Gani was taken away. He landed in Gashua. He almost died there. Now, what we are doing today, this is democracy, much, much easier for us to struggle. Lawyers, led by the Keja branch, must decide today that we should change this renewed hope, or whatever they call it, which is not going to help our people. But as for us as lawyers, when we are gathered there, we must tell ourselves some basic home truths. Your Majesty, we want to congratulate you for your victory in the Court of Appeal. Your opponents say they are going to the Supreme Court as far as the law is concerned. And it's so certain. And this is where the NBA must come in. Where the law has been settled. That the traditional institution is not a fundamental right matter. So you can't say, as a traditional ruler, you are going to enforce your fundamental rights in court. 2, the court again has made the point that the Federal High Court has no jurisdiction on chieftaincy matters. So if some of our colleagues are deceiving their clients and they are causing problems in the country, the NBA owes it a duty, NBA owes it a duty to begin to intervene and call our colleagues to order. Your Majesty, wherever they are going, whether Supreme Court or wherever, you have come to stay. And we must only have one emir in Kano. We can't have 2 emirs in Kano, 2 speakers in Rivers. This confusion must stop. Thank you very much.
The SAP, Structural Adjustment Program, which also impoverished the citizens under Babangida so much that it entered the Guinness Book of Record. Guinness Book of World Record, I think. And that's exactly what Tifnubu and his gang are doing right now. They are forcing you into an economic strangulation that is taking you out one by one. And they are calling it an effort for your own good. We are doing it for you. We are doing this for you. You don't understand. We are doing it for you.
The cost of fuel has gone up. Food and other prices have followed it. Households and businesses struggling. Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there's not.
Because there is none. But let's leave that for now and go to the National Assembly, where Tifnubu submitted a budget of hunger, a budget of corruption, budget of hopelessness. That's what I call it, because that's what it is. 48.9 trillion naira or 49 trillion naira is the budget that Tifnubu submitted to the National Assembly. However, there are so many things missing, but we don't want to talk about the missing stuff. But we want to talk a little bit about the discrepancies, which the supposed appropriation committee of the National Assembly discovered when they were having one-on-one with the police IG today. That has gone viral, by the way. I don't know if you have seen the video. So I have a clip here. The police IG came prepared. Supposedly, police is representing the police, which means the police budget. He came with his own copy. While he was there reading from his own copy of the supposed submitted budget by Tifnubu, the guys there were like, the members of the committee, they were like, excuse me, what are you reading? Like, sorry, are you reading the same budget proposal that we have a copy here, Mr. Police Officer? No, this is not right. Then the chairman of the committee, Senate committee, was like, hey, no, it's okay. If you don't have the copy, we'll give it to you later. Meanwhile, you see, to defend your budget, right? If any ministry, agency, or parastatal needs to defend their budget for approval at the National Assembly, right? So what they would do is that these committees, right, they will be able to ask questions either on the last budget and then on this current one. They can ask questions on the implementation and what have you, okay, like normal. And therefore, they must have a copy so that if they have any question, they must raise their question based on the available copy of their budget proposal. That's how it's done. So one of them was like, this is not looking right. What is he reading? Sorry, Mr. Police, are you reading the same one that they gave us, or there is another one? And so Wahala started, right? Let me share the first part with you. Between the police IG and the Senate, or the senators.
Mr. Chairman, Mark Eset is my name from Akwa Ibom State. Okay, point over that, Mr. Chairman.